Yo guys, I'm HP, this is Dr. Pink, and today I'm going to talk about Basic Smooth Jazz Guitar 1. This is the first lesson or tutorial of a series of Basic Smooth Jazz Guitar, which will guide all you guys through the steps which are needed to get into smooth jazz, and the minimum requirements to follow these tutorials is that you can play a solid blues improvisation with pentatonics. And during these tutorials you're going to learn how to analyze a track, which modes are used, and how to work with modes in an easy but comprehensive way. And also we're going to talk about rhythm and simple rhythm studies, because rhythm is 50% of music. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button, and also join the HPCrazy Guitar Academy. Today we're working with this tune here. I produced it extra for you guys. It sounds awesome, but it's slow enough that you guys are not overwhelmed with the speed of the track. So I'm going to show you what we're going to talk about today. You're also going to learn chords. And also learn to play melodic following the chords. And so on. And so on. So we're going step by step through the whole tune. And first thing, before you start any tune which is labeled with jazz, either jazz or smooth jazz, you have to make an analysis of the track. In this case, I made it really simple for you guys. It's basically only 3 chords. We're going to check them out. First, the chords which the chords it's in E flat minor. So we have 2 bars of E flat minor, 2 bars of A flat minor, 2 bars of E flat minor, and 2 bars of B major. So only 3 chords, but now we're first going to check how we're going to do the chords in a really smooth and nice way. Let's first check out the chords. As I already said, the regular chord will be E flat minor to A flat minor, to E flat minor, to B flat major. So classic minor progression 1, 4, 5. But when anything which is labeled with jazz doesn't use these chords anymore. You use chords, and mostly play them on the top 4 strings, and so do we. And we're going to select this one here. This is a E flat minor 9 chord. Some guys of you might say, well, this is an F sharp major 7 chord. Yes, of course, but because the bass note is in E flat, the F sharp major 7 chord becomes a E flat minor 9 chord. If I would add the bass, then you hear it. So this, you just laid out the chord. Instead of this one, you take this. And then the A flat minor 7 could be like this. That works, but I want to add something more, and I would make it like this. This is an A flat minor 11 chord. Why is the bass note missing? Because when you play in a band setting, you don't need to play the bass note anymore. You just take the so-called guide tones, which is the 7th and the triad of a chord, which in case is this one here. This is the 7th of the A flat and the triad. Then we add 1 note more, this one here. So this is already A flat minor 11 chord, as you can hear. And for the voice leading is also important. We also take this one here, the F sharp. So 1 note is double. So we have A flat minor 11 chord. Back to E flat minor 9. Then we come to B7 altered, which would be a B7 sharp 9 flat 13, which is like this. Really simple to grab, and some guys will say, where's the B flat? Here. This is the analog to this one here, up here. You probably know this one here, B flat 7, sharp 9, flat 13. But that one is too far. I was talking about voice leading. We cannot go up here. We have to be down here and take this the same chord. We just take the upper part, move it down, and now we have an open string. And sounds quite cool. So let's just put in the chords, and you just lay these chords down, and then you sound really jazzy. And they're not so hard to grab. Maybe hard to understand, but you will get used to it by using these chords, you know. You don't need to totally understand the theory behind it by now, but just get used to these chords, and that's cool. And you also can use these chords in your soloing. We check that out later. Good. Now let's check out the soloing. The first thing you need to do when you, as I said, anything which is labeled with jazz has to first be analyzed. We can say, okay, this is a tune in E flat minor. So what works, of course, is the E flat minor pentatonics or E flat blues. I'll show you quickly. It works. But you probably already heard the problem. When you play like this, it sounds like you're playing blues guitar on the wrong genre. And well, you can use this stuff, you know, as a counterpoint to other expressions, but not explicitly. And now we're going to check out what we can do. When you play jazz stuff, you start following the chords, and then the modes, so-called modes, come into play. So what are the modes here? Basically, the whole track is in E flat minor, so you use the E flat minor scale. This would be the E flat minor scale. So when you start to work only with this, you're already better than before just using pentatonics. I'll show you. Already sounds way better than before. But you already heard on the B flat, it doesn't sound so correct. And because that scale doesn't really work over the B flat. In this case, when the B flat comes, the problem is the B flat has here the D. The D is the triad, and the D is not inside this scale, in the E flat minor scale. So replace the wrong note, here the D flat, with the D. And this creates us, this is called harmonic minor. And in this case, you play this scale or mode. Okay, and this will already solve your problem, or you just hang on the D when the B flat comes. Now, if you want to follow the chords, you have to put a mode on each chord, because when you play like this, one main thing is still missing. There's no motifs or no guidance in your soloing. See, it's like noodling around with no real message. There's no real message, and because there are no motifs and no development of motifs, and now we want to develop motifs, and therefore we have to be able to move motifs inside the modes and go and adapt them to the next mode, and therefore you need to know all modes on each chord. So the mode on the E flat minor is the E flat. When this one here, okay, this is E flat minor, and you count through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You can also count like this. I'm going to explain later. It's not exactly what the intervals were, but to start, you just count like this. Now on the A flat, on this one, you don't start on this note. You have to start on this. Now you play the same notes as before, but starting from here. And this leads to another scale, or the mode. This one is called Dorian, because there are other intervals, and you count through again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, or if you do it really correct, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1, 2, flat 3, and so on. And when you go to the B flat, remember we switch to E flat harmonic minor, and that one we have to play, but we don't start on the E flat, we start on the B flat, but we play the same notes. And this one is called friggin' natural 3. I'm sorry for the names, but that's how they are. Yeah. Now when we want to do motifs, let's do a simple motif. We start on the 1 of E flat minor, go to the 3 and end up in the 5. So, okay, that will be a motif, a simple motif. On the A flat, we move the same motif to A flat. We have to start on the 1 of the A flat. That will be. Now you can hear it's connected because it sounds similar, but these are not the same notes. And on the B flat we do the same thing. And wow, suddenly it starts to have a cohesion and is connected. Play an octave higher. Chord. Wow. Now it sounds like smooth jazz. Now it sounds like smooth jazz. Even it's a really simple method at the moment, but as I said, it's basic stuff, and if you cannot do the basics, no need to go further. So that's the way you start and the way you work with modes. Many people think when you play modes, you have to play noodle up and down. Well, you can do that, but that's not the main theme of modes. The main theme is that you know what you're doing and you connect with the chord and move motifs around. Now, first exercise here would be and we're starting on the chord notes. What are chord notes? Additional to the modes, you also need to learn the arpeggios, because the arpeggios represent the chord notes. A lot of people think when you play arpeggios, it's about playing fast. Well, you can, but it's also to know where these notes are. This is root, triad, fifth, flat 7, root, flat 3, 5, flat 7. This is a E flat minor 7 arpeggio. Same here in A flat. Again, arpeggio. And on the B flat, we have a B flat 7 arpeggio. So this is an additional grade. We have the mode. Inside the mode, we find the arpeggios. And there are 3 notes remaining, and these are the so-called options. We have a mode has 7 notes. The chord notes take away 4 notes. This is the root, the triad, the fifth, and the flat 7 or 7. There are 3 remaining ones. These are called options. I come back to the options a little bit later. So now we have the arpeggios. Now we do the same thing as before, but instead of starting on, before we start on the root, now we start on the third and just move a motive. We do something like this. We move up the mode and go back to the beginning, the third. And then you can already hear it's connected. Okay, see. And now we do the same from the fifth on, maybe something like this here, or now we go up. Well, you can choose what you want, but the main thing when you practice the stuff, you need to find out where the fifth is, pre-hear the fifth before you play it, and then you play something really simple. Okay, and then you move it through the modes. So we're starting on the fifth, move it to now the fifth here, and the fifth here, and here. Works. And if you're flexible in all this stuff, you can mix it up and connect it, but that will be part of the next tutorial. We keep it really simple at the moment because you first need to learn the structures, and you first need to find where these specific notes are inside the grid, okay? And the last thing you can also try, and that's not the hardest one, I was already talking about this, the so-called options, the remaining 3 notes. And the main option, which sounds really nice, is the so-called the 9 or the 2. And if you play anything starting on the 2, it will be this note here. That will be the F in E flat minor. So we start here, go to the next option, to the 11, and back to the root. And here will be, and on the B flat it starts on the B. Yeah, but that one, in this case, the 11 doesn't sound so nice, so we do this here. We do this here. Here like this. Even this stuff is technically easy to play for all of you guys out there. The challenge is that you always know what you're doing, where you are. While you play, you know exactly where you are in the tune, which chord is played, which mode, and which note you're currently playing. So that needs some practice. Take some time and really do these simple exercises as long till you get the message inside of you where you are. And once you can do that, just as a preview for upcoming stuff, then you can start connecting and mixing. I always know where I am. And so on. You know, you can play that stuff once you know what you can play and where you are inside the grid, but you need to start from the very, very basics, and this is what I just explained. Yo guys, that was Basic Smooth Jazz Guitar 1. I produced some exercises for you, basically what I just explained in written form, and you can download this really cool backing track. Has some really nice surprises at the end where it goes really so whoa, it opens up so much, and it's gonna get awesome and fun to play. You can download that stuff in the HPCrazy Guitar Academy. And there you also, if you have any questions about this topic, you can ask there. And yeah, good. One more to say, subscribe to my channel because the next tutorial will come, Basic Smooth Jazz Guitar 2, and so on and so on. We really want to build this up and lead you from the beginning to somewhere where you can really stay relaxed on stage and just play smoothly and coolly as if you would be named Lee Rittenauer, you know. These guys know what they're doing, you know. The main thing in anything which is labeled with jazz, you can play a few notes. The technical thing is not so much the speed, but that you know what you're doing, that you know and you hear what you're doing. And these exercises here, they give you the grid and the knowledge you need to know to fulfill all this stuff, that you can just play a few notes. You know, and then you can start doing this real cool stuff. But if you don't know what you're doing, there's no chance. And I already said you can mix this up with already existing playing techniques, but that's also a method. You know, play first like this, then you go into normal pentatonics to give it the bluesy vibe, and then you go back to the other improvisation technique. That's also cool. We come back to later to this in another tutorial. For today, it's enough. See you guys, and please subscribe, comment, share, and yeah, the usual stuff. Help this channel grow to 100K subscribers. Bye, guys.